Good afternoon, and welcome to Think About It Using Common Sense. It's been quite a while since I've been on, and during that time, a lot has been going on, and it's all been about Donald Trump again. Excuse me. No matter how hard and whatever I say, I'm not going to listen to Donald Trump anymore. You just can't help it because he's in the news every day. And today, he was indicted again for a third time. This is a president, an ex-president, you know, been impeached twice, indicted three times, and I don't know how many charges is against him. But this is just totally out in left field. And they say it's something that's never happened before. And on the same token, there's 70 million and more people that's supporting Trump. But I don't know if they're supporting Trump or supporting what he stands for. And I don't even know if they're really supporting what he stands for based on what what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is going on. Because what's happening, it seems to be a trend for dictatorship. People want to rule for life. Then they want to hand it down to their families. So it's all about power, but America seems to be, um, you know, the last major country that's holding out, and that's because of the people. Because if it wasn't for people in 2020 that stopped uh, Donald Trump from staging his coup or his coup going through, and him being president right now, king right now, however you want to call him or label him. This is what was at stake in that election between Trump and Joe Biden. And even now, if people just listen to what's happening, I don't think, well, no, I don't think, but based on what I'm seeing, and I'm not stupid, you know, these charges that's being put on Trump, you know, Trump did them based on the evidence. And even the Vice President Pence came out and said the other night. Anybody who did what Trump did should not be president. They should not even be allowed to run for president. Trump came out and said it. But even though these people, um, they wishy-washy because these are the same people, the few that uh, seem to pull back and say, hey, look, I'm not going to lose my soul supporting what I know to be untruths. But they were riding high with Trump. And the truth doesn't change. If a person is a certain way and you support that person then, and that person is still the same way, and yet all of a sudden now you don't support him, it's wishy-washy, hypocritical. And this is what I see in the Republican Party. And I'm not saying that people in the Democratic Party, It's wishy-washy. But right now, it's looking at what's taking place in this country today. They're definitely not as wishy-washy as the Republicans, as Donald Trump. He lost the election. He just should have bowed out gracefully. But no, he didn't want to do that. And the thing that gets me is the fact that he has been given special opportunities that no one else come close to getting. He spent millions and millions. The last I heard a couple of days ago, spent over $40 million in lawyer fees. But having money, you can do this. That's what it's for. Prolonging the inevitable. If the inevitable comes, if he can hold out until the election, if he becomes president again, it's all done. It's over. He's a free man. All his other buddies that's in jail or being indicted, they're free. But just think about what I'm saying right now. If he wins the election, he's a free man. He will not have to stand trial or possibly go to jail. And his other partners in crime, so to speak, they would be they wouldn't have to worry about going to jail. And people that was in the insurrection, he had said that he would pardon those people, let those people out of jail. So if you've learned nothing else, people, we can see, if you're able to see, Trump has taught us a lot. He's shown us that the justice system, the scales are tilted. And they are tilted in the favor of the rich. Excuse me. Alexa, stop. I'm sorry about that. These computers. But the scales of justice are tilted. And they're tilted for the rich. You've shown us this. You've shown us that if you have enough money, you can do anything. You can buy anything. And remember when he said if he had enough money, he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. He could grab women by their privates. Money opens doors, people. You can see that. Money opens doors. And power. And it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Dog-eat-dog. Nobody cares. No one cares. If you can't do anything or be of service for someone, well, guess what? What does that person need you for? They don't. They don't. That's why I've always believed that when working for someone, make yourself valuable. They don't get rid of someone that's valuable. They don't do that. Always learned that. A long time ago, I learned that. But at the same time, you can't be a fool because people are always looking to get rid of you. How can they get rid of you? How can they make more money? And this is what's happening now with the autonomy of robots, AIs, getting rid of people, getting rid of people to make money. The rich don't need you anymore. In the beginning, they needed people. They needed people to build the railroads. You needed people out there in the fields to do the work that they could not do. They was unable to do. They don't need you anymore. They're machines. Machines can dig in one day what 5,000 people. can't do. Right. Just touching the tip of the iceberg. And they really, when you think about it, they really do not need people. They're needing less and less people, and people are becoming a pain. And they don't need you. That's what they have an I think a demonstration in Hollywood right now. They're talking about AI replacing the people behind the curtains, writing the movies, shows, whatever in Hollywood. They're protesting about that right now. And you know, Trump, if he get in office again, it's over. It's done as far as uh, our democracy in this country is concerned. It really is. I heard something, I read something a few days ago, maybe last week. Netanyahu, he did something similar. I'm not sure. Being able to put more power taken in his hands and having less power in the judicial system, the judges. So this is what Trump is talking about doing now. And what's fueling behind this is people are saying, well, you want to start uh, putting people against one another, which whenever economies get tight, jobs is tight, it happens. But now it's for a different reason because things are changing. And when you start talking about technology and electric cars and flying uh, cars, and you have drones delivering stuff, and talking about mass producing food in laboratories and stuff. It's a big change, and every time there's a change, in the midst of the transition, in the midst of the transition, a lot is lost. Not only lives are lost, but jobs are lost, and the loss of these jobs and uh, uh, means of living and ways of living, it creates hardships. Creates hardships, and hardships that poor people, seniors, will not be able to bear. And we're taking our eyes off the ball with all this Trump stuff that's going on. The people, let's be realistic. These people, the Democrats, the Republicans, and people, they know what happened on January 6th. They know it was an attempted coup. They know all this stuff. You have people in jail. You have people in jail for attempted coup on January 6th. You have people that lost their lives January 6th. This subject cannot be swept underneath the rug. And this is what Americans did this to our country, trying to bring down our democracy. As if the people that's doing it was going to get rewarded if they did it. That's just how out of touch they were. And they are. Because at the end of the day, it's about the haves and the have-nots. And you better look around when you talk about the haves and the have-nots. Really need to open your eyes and look around. Our resources, the resources here in this country are dwindling. I have the shelves in the supermarkets. They aren't full like they used to be. No, they're not. We had one little scare once. This may have been a couple of months ago. We had something where the water was polluted or something. You should have seen the run on spring water. People was actually fighting for it. There's no sense of organization. People want to strap up with their guns and just go out and just pull it all in for myself. The hell with everybody else. And this is the type of environment that we're living in. And we're creating this for ourselves. And there are people that all this stuff, they see it, but guess what? You know what? They're not feeding into it. They are building a stable environment, a stable community, a stable neighborhood where people are working together, looking out for one another, owning businesses. Because if you don't own anything, you're in a world of trouble. You are in a world of trouble. You just can't be people just going to spend. And when you need something, you don't have anything, and you can't get anything. And I mean, you got to have, if your credit rating, if you don't have a decent credit rating, you can't even get a television hookup. And that's regardless of how long you've had your service. And if you've been paying your service on time for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you've been paying your service on time. But you know what? If you have to change and get another service somewhere else, and if you don't have a good credit rating, which that does not enable you to have a credit rating, even though you've been paying your bill on time with your service provider, it doesn't mean a thing. They will charge you a fee to reconnect. Credit rating, people. Everything that's about credit. And if you don't have good credit, you don't have a decent job, and if you're a person of color, forget about it. That's why it's important. It's important to have a good reputation. People of color do not have a good reputation, especially African Americans. I'm giving it to you straight. I'm gonna give it to you straight. And if you can't handle the truth, then just stop listening to me right now. Don't even listen to me anymore. Because based on your attitude and based on how you are, and I realize you've been through a lot. We've been through a lot. It's a different world for people of color than the Caucasian people. You understand? Which, when you really think about it, if you give some thought to it, you can understand it. That'd be right, but you can understand why it's like that, or why it's been like that, and why with young people that's coming up, things change because they see things differently. You see, all those who haven't been, you know, taught by their parents that black people are this or this and that. Foreigners that come over to this country, some of them are taught, hey, look, black people are this way, this way, this way, this way. Don't do. I mean, let's be realistic. And I think that's part of the problem today. We're not being realistic about why things are the way they are. That's right. There's a reason. There's a reason for everything. Everything. You know, a lot of people, Asians, been wrong. The, the Jewish people have been wrong. African American people have been wrong. Black Africans have been wrong. But we have to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. We have to be taught. We have to be taught how to survive. We have to be taught the important things in life and what it is to survive. And then when we talk about surviving, it's just not an individual or a couple of individuals. It's about your race of people. It's about your future, the future of your race. You know, I wrote an article the other day. I write something, I forget the name of it. But you know, I was thinking, and I said, you know, people in Africa, the richest continent in the world, and the people over there are starving. It shouldn't be like that. Even if the even if you don't have the machine, but you should have. Why are the people in Africa starving with the richest continent in the world, and everybody else from all other countries in the world are coming or taking their resources, and they have nothing? And then I reflected back to the African Americans here in America. I said, here are African Americans came out of slavery, excuse me, came out of slavery, and we are in the position to get something and build something as a race of people. Why are we in the situation that we're in? Because we have not been doing what we're supposed to do. We have been being misdirected. We have allowed ourselves to be used. We have allowed ourselves not to educate our children, to see to it that our children was educated, to build strong family values. We didn't do that. We weren't taught how to use money, the value of it. We wasn't taught about that. Only thing we were taught to spend, spend, spend. We wasn't taught how important and valuable it is to be a person of color. We weren't taught the value of life. Life. And things that we do. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know how I read this the other day there. You know, black people spending money or people of color spending money have actually saved this economy, have contributed immensely to this economy, to the sustainability of it, because we spend money. We spend money, but we don't spend it for ourselves. And I'm not talking about just, well, all black people got to spend money for blacks. You can't live in this world by yourself, but we can create an economy, a neighborhood can be just as nice, just as safe, just as prosperous as any neighborhood in this city, in this state, in this country. That's right. Nobody said it. Only difference between one person and another person is the knowledge that's in that person, what that person know, and how the people work together. Because knowledge is power. Knowledge generate money, which is power, which opens doors. If Donald Trump didn't have the money that he has, he would have been in jail. He would never even been allowed to do what he is doing. People have got to stop and be honest with you. I don't even know if it's too late. I don't even know if we can catch up or not. Because the way things are going now, it's serious. It's really, really serious. And a loaf of bread, every time I go to the supermarket, costs more money. You see the price of eggs? I saw a dozen eggs the other day, $8, $9 for a dozen eggs. Eggs, you mind you. Yeah, it's a lot of money. A lot of money. But at the end of the day, money is a medium of exchange. You buy things with it. You invest it to get tangible things that you can put your hands on. Money, you can have a house full of it. If you're hungry, you can't eat it. If you're thirsty, you can't drink it. If you're cold, I guess you might be able to wrap enough up in it to wrap around you, burn it up, start a fire, keep you warm. But money is a tool. It's a medium of exchange. You use that to get things with. That's why I come in my neighborhood. I see signs. We buy your house. How stupid can you be? Why are you going to sell your house and they don't even give you what the value of it. You're going to sell your house to somebody, then you're going to go out and rent something more than likely. And then you're paying, and that little bit of money goes quick. And next thing you know, you got nothing. Then you have no money, you have no job, you can't do this, then you can't go out and rent place where you're going to live. Now you out. And then the person you sold your house to for maybe 100,000, which probably is worth 250,000, he can hold on to it, rent it out for this and this, and still got the value of the property still going up, and he's making money because he rented it out, and all because of your ignorance as to how to make money. That's the problem. You've been doing this for generations, and now it's terrible. It's terrible now because there was only so many slices of pie to be had. And there's other players that has money, that has people with money, their own people with money. And we have people of color have such bad reputation. People want to deal with it. I'm telling you the truth now. If you can't handle it, and this is my opinion, what I'm seeing, a lot of stuff has nothing to even do with racism. Because I'll be honest with you, I see so many Caucasians helping people of color, helping the poor, helping the homeless. So many of them. But we should be doing more. We should be doing more for ourselves. There's a lot of black millionaires, billionaires. All I see is fleets of cars, rooms of diamond watches, you know, rooms of sneakers, you know, 4 or 5 jet planes, uh, 10, 3 or 4, 10 Hollywood mansions with swimming pools. And if you like me, you can't even swim. This is a waste of money. It's a waste. Invest. Help develop these neighborhoods for people of color. Put these apartment complexes, build some businesses, do some bulldozing these slums down and build some nice restaurants. You can own them. Have people working for you. Minimize so you keep the rent at a reasonable rate so your people can live, can get a toehold so they can do something in life. Build some colleges and monitor these kids. Don't just let somebody come in there just because, okay, I did this and I can come in, I can get this job. No, you got to be worthy of it. You can help them, but you got to teach. There's certain ways to teach these children, and they're not being taught properly. And maybe some are, but I've been in some schools I've seen where they're not being taught properly. You got to have discipline when it comes to these kids in these schools, especially today. They come in, these kids come to school, you don't know if they come to rob you or what, the way they look and walking through that door. These programs, we in the age of nanotechnology, AI, and robotics. This is what these kids need to be being taught. These cell phones and all this stuff has to go. They have to go starting from home into the school. They have to go. Because you're not going to be prepared for the future listening to that junk on these cell phones, playing these games. Not. And when you get old and get out here and realize you're going, and things is constantly getting higher and higher. The cost of living is getting higher and higher. And pretty soon jobs is going to be like, it's going to be a run on jobs because the computer's going to have more. Especially low-end jobs, even the high-end jobs, accountant jobs, all these different type jobs, medical operations and all these procedures and stuff like that. Machines, man. Yes. Yes. It ain't just it's not just the poor people that's going to be in looking for jobs. It's also going to be the rich. Also going to be these CEOs. Yes. Yes. And see, that's when the trouble's really going to start, because when these jobs get scarce, now people going to really come out and say, well, you know what? If a person of color has no business having a job, if me being a Caucasian and I don't have one, now you got a problem. This is the mentality. This is that Trump mentality that have people doing what they're doing now instead of preparing themselves mentally and physically, economically for the future. They out here worrying about this mess, wind up in jail, doing all this dumb stuff. These people got money. Rich people have money. Trump has money. Trump has more money in that property than he's ever had his entire life. You see, his son-in-law just got $2 billion from Saudi Arabia that we know about. I'm sure there's other people that got money that we don't know about. They let you know about what they want you to know about. Because at the end of the day, when Trump made these tax cuts, he made tax cuts for the rich. He made tax cuts for the rich Republicans, the rich Democrats, the rich movie stars, the rich real estate tycoons, the rich Wall Street people. Made tax cuts for the rich. People, you better wake up. And you better wake up to the point you better start taking care of yourself. Because you're not even going to be able to afford. They got all these hospitals and stuff that they building because they know what's coming down the pipe. But you know what? If you don't have money or state of the art insurance, you're not going to get treated. You're not going to get treated because it's going to cost some money. They're going to treat. They will be able to cure you. They don't care nothing about the poor and the middle class, the seniors. You don't even count. But you're running around here like, I don't know, like you don't even care anything about yourself, when yourself, your state of mind, and your life is the only thing that is of value, and it's the only thing that always have been or has been of value. It's your life. It's your life. And that's why people of color, you, especially people of color, you've got to learn something. You got to learn. You got to learn to value your life and stop just doing all this crazy stuff and not getting educated and not having a family and supporting your children, working together, setting goals, making sure your children are educated, making sure they're healthy, making sure they're doing what's necessary to survive in the future. This is not being done. And we're seeing the repercussions of it. Our jails are full. 85% of the kids in jail are people of color. They got these juvenile centers so full that now they got to build new juvenile centers for these kids. They got so many of them locked up. But you would think they would try and do something to, instead of locking them up, put them in some kind of educational system or something. Teach these kids. No, because you know what? It's money. America is a business. It's a business. But you got to get smart. Nobody's going, when time's getting critical, and nobody can be coming down. Okay, come on with me. I'm going to take you to my house and feed you. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. People, you got to take care of yourselves. As long as you're trying to do something, people don't mind. You know, people, that's what make people people. When you can care for others. You know, when you can look at a terrible situation and you can feel their pain and you can cry, can bring tears to your eyes. People, that's what determines a live person from a dead person. And people today are becoming more like the walking dead. No feelings, heartless. Every day I see more. They walk past people on the street. They don't care. You know, they get uh, a football coach or whatever, a player or something, taking money from the from the welfare, from people on welfare for his own personal use, multi-millionaire. Who does that? No, you just can't. You know, things can be done. You don't have to come down, and people realize there's classes of people like there's degrees of life. You don't have to. Everybody don't have to need yachts and expensive multi-million dollar cars and stuff. You don't need that. It's all about needs and wants. Because at the end of the day, with all your luxuries and this and that, you know what? On your deathbed, you give all that mess up to live another day. That's what's important. Life and family. Life and family. That's what's important. And we're losing that in the midst of materiality. We're losing spirituality. Because spirituality gives you life, it gives you love. And you can have both, but don't worship. You know, don't worship things. Have them, sure. Look at the condition of the world today. Look at the condition of the world today. This is the condition of people worshiping things. That's right. Things at the risk of destroying our planet and destroying ourselves. Don't you know every chemical in the body is going to come out at some form of cancer or something of something. Have you ever heard, like, for example, um, on television? Yeah, they come out with this pill. They'll tell you this pill, some ZZ bar, whatever. They always give some crazy names, right? And they said this pill will cure your eyesight, give you perfect eyesight for so long. Maybe take it every now and then. But the side effects, liver problems, kidney cancer, blood disease, your bones will start crumbling on you. But it cure your eyesight. Everybody just as happy as can be. Oh, we'll be able to see. They don't talk about all the brief repercussions and everything that they have. Every pill that they tell you will cure this has repercussions that are a possibility of causing this. And that's just the reality of it. For everything, there are repercussions for everything. I don't care what it is. If you change something, add something, it's going to be repercussions from it, whether good, bad, or whatever. But it's going to interrupt something somewhere. And this is what people don't understand, but they do understand. But certain people in um in these labs that developing this stuff, what they're doing, they're weighing. They said, well, it might take 50, maybe take about 20 years for this to happen. Meanwhile, by the time that starts showing uh, this, we done made X amount of dollars, and then that would show you something else, and then we can make X amount of dollars on this from the cure for this, and then that's gonna cause this to happen in a certain amount of time. So we can come up with cures for this. So it's a money train. It's a money train, and all we are, is an avenue to money, money. That's it. If you don't have any money, you're not worth anything. Why? Why? And it's sensible. You can't buy anything. And somebody got to feed you if you don't own anything. And the only reason you get fed is because the people that's feeding you are getting paid to feed you. See, so there's a price. There's a price for you not doing anything, and you're going to fall victim, and you are falling victim, and your children are falling victim. And the only way you're gonna get out of this, people, you got to change your ways. You know, if a junkie, if you on that heroin or whatever you on, the only way you're gonna get straight, you gotta put the needle down. You gotta put the needle down. And all these now they got places now where you can go in if you're a junkie, you can go in there and you can get high and we'll watch you. We'll watch you die a slow death. Because as hard as it is, as hard as you think it is, if you make up your mind, listen to me, if you make up your mind, understand, and reach down inside of yourself, but you got to have some spiritual uh, sensitivity within you, some spiritual knowledge within you. And you have to understand how spirituality and you and God within work. And first of all, you have to know who you are. You have to understand and believe. You have to understand and faith in yourself to do whatever it is you want to do. Because if you can think of it, it's a wrap. All you got to do is do it. Find a way to do it. But when it comes to something like addiction, people say, "Oh, it's so hard." But you know what? You take it a day at a time, a minute at a time. At first, I couldn't understand people talk about that, but then once you start studying and seeing things, that's what it is. You have to take it a minute, half an hour. Just get through it, and don't you can't hang in, you can't hang in the in the hang around addicts and expect to quit. Mm-mm. You got to leave that. That's when I think Jesus told Lot and his wife, he said, look, when you leave, do not turn back. Don't look back. He said, if you look back, you're gonna turn to a pillow of salt, which means crystallize. You know what I mean? So that's it. So when you leave something, you got to leave it. And that's what a lot of people fall victim. They said, I'm clean. Then the first chance they get there, run right back to the street. Or run right back to where they was getting the dope, hang around with the same people that was getting the dope. Can't do it like that. And you can break it, but you have to want to break it. You don't need, uh, all this stuff. You have to take this and take this for that and take this for that and this for that. Stop it. That's all. That's all you got to do is just stop it and know that you can stop it and get it done. I know people used to smoke uh, two packs of cigarettes a day. They smoked them for years. They just quit cold turkey because you know what? They wanted to live. They saw the foolishness in it. They saw what it brings. There's no good that comes out of it. None. But if you want to stop, you can stop. You can stop. But you have to want to stop, and you have to stop and get out of that circle. You can't do it. And you got to accept reality. You know? And that's cause and effect. Everything you do, there's effects of whatever it is that you do. So that's why you have to watch what you do. You have to watch what you think. Watch what goes into your head. Don't sit down in front of no television, be watching all that stuff all the time. Violence and this. What do you think you're going? You may not even think that, but it'll pop up in your head when you least expect. You watching violent movies and this and that. You go out there and somebody say the wrong thing to you before you know it, bam, you don't cuss them out, call them so and so, and maybe even hit them. You say, why I do that? You've been watching that stuff on TV, on television for how many years? In and out. You're a product of your environment. You're a product. I knew a guy used to watch kid, and he watched WWE, I think. That wrestling, which is it's like fake. Some of it when it was coming out, and people be jumping all in the air and picking people up and bodies slamming them and all this. Right? So a friend of mine was a wrestler, a wrestler at college, one of the top colleges in Philadelphia. So he took this kid with him, and so I asked him. I said, "Well, how did the kid do?" And he told me, well, he was in there trying to pick kids up and body slam. That's not how you wrestle. But you see, that's what he was watching on television. You see, and these people in Hollywood can say whatever the hell you want to say. Television influences children. That's why these people, these actresses and actors in Hollywood, they don't let their kids watch this mess that they do. I heard a woman on television say she made this horror movie, and the lady said, "But do you want? So what do your kids think about that?" She said, "What? I don't let my kids watch that mess." That's what she said, but she'll make the movies for your kids to watch. But you have to be the parent. You have to be the parent and take control of your kid. Don't let the kid turn you into the kid, and they become parents. No. And these kids' minds are not is not equipped to handle certain. You understand? Because what happens is when you get in certain situations, especially when you start dealing with drugs and stuff like that, and now they're legalizing pot and they're legalizing alcohol, and you don't know what drug is going to turn you to one because you always, if you get high with this, hey man, I want to try this. I want to get a little higher. Name of the game. You get a fast car, you take it to 60. If you got 120 on the speed arm, you're driving at 60. Next thing you know, you want to drive at 80. You want to see what it's going to do at 100. It's the same principle. But the car owners don't care. All they want to do is sell you that car. Why in the world would they sell you a car, run 250 miles an hour, and the speed limit only goes 65 or 70? Doesn't even make sense, does it? No way to drive it. But the thrill is what sells the car. But people have to take time to understand life, understand themselves, because this is critical now. We're coming into uh I think, the last critical stage of life and humanity, or should I say life as we know it. Because I saw something yesterday. People, you don't know what you're eating. This stuff you put in your body, you don't even know what it is. People that's putting it in there, that's making it, don't even have a clue what it is or have a clue what it's going to do to you. But all they know is it's going to make them some money. That's all. They had a thing, excuse me for that. They had a thing on television. I've always wondered what this, excuse me, I'm sorry. I always wondered what this artificial crab meat looked like. I always wondered what this stuff was. But I was watching television last night. Uh, they were showing how that stuff was made. And this lady, she was the narrator of this whole process. And man, never again will I eat that. Never again. She was describing that kind of stuff. That was just, matter of fact, I couldn't even watch him finish making it. That's how disgusting that stuff was. And then they switched from that over to these huge vats where they was making artificial chicken from these skin cells, something. Now, you understand? And then what they do, all this stuff that they make when they coming out, they have something to cut it into like chicken patties or, or maybe nuggets or whatever they want to make chicken out of. They might even cut a whole chicken out of it, a boneless. They may make a boneless chicken out of it. Wow, you think about that. I should patent that. They probably didn't think about that. Uh, but this stuff that they're making this stuff out of, you got to remember that it's different than a real chicken. A real chicken came from uh, uh, through time. A real chicken came through evolution of life through time. This stuff comes out of a lab, out of a tube, it goes into a giant thing and mix it up. And then here you come from eating. Now you can say what you want to say. It might taste like chicken, look like chicken, but it's not the same process of that chicken, that real chicken. It's different. It's different. And guess what? And it may be fine. I'm not a scientist. It may be fine, but it's not the same chicken. And there's going to be some effects between that and what happens in your digestive system in your body when it gets to that foreign object. May not affect you, but hey, you might have kids born with chicken feet. You don't know. Or the next generation, kids with chicken feet, kids with chicken heads. You don't know. All thing I'm saying is we need to just not jump into everything. and it could be perfectly fine. So they can do that with beef, chicken, fish, lamb. I guess with any cell, any human cell, or any live cell, or DNA makes it possible. Uh, it's just that you know these scientists, you know, once you start getting that lab, and then you start uh, adding and taking out degrees of things and dibbing and dabbing in this, and dibbing and that, you're going to make things to different. Everything's going to be different. It's experimentation, and you don't know you have no clue what the effect is going to be long term. You don't know. You can't even sit there and tell nobody. If you do, you're lying. But one thing is for sure, why don't we work more on developing what we have and controlling what we have and making this earth a better place for everyone to live and clean it up? You're putting billions and billions and trillions in outer space, and this earth is going to the dogs, to the pigs, wherever it's going. It's filthy. It's becoming unlivable. The water's getting to the point where you can't even drink it. Everybody depending on spring water. This is just it haven't even hit yet. It's coming. It's coming down the pipe, people. Maybe this year, next year, 5 years from now, but it's coming down the pipe. Everything's gonna come down the pipe. And there's a time to start bracing yourself, getting ready. Um, you know, believing in God. You don't have to everybody believe in whatever they want to believe in, but all the gods and the religions that I've heard people talk about, God is it's about love, it's about wisdom, it's about doing the right thing. So, people believe in doing that and just loving people and, being truthful and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If people do these things, you don't have to go. I mean, that's enough right there to change the world. People just did it would change the world. Well, when you got 2% of the people with 95% of the wealth, you're going to be a problem. Doesn't even make sense. The people can't even spend it well. You can't even spend it. And the power that you're talking about you have is only if you want to go and exercise, but in reality, it's a state of mind. You don't know. You don't even know. And the power, you talk about power, you really want to talk about power? You sit there and think about the power. The human body is composed of trillions and trillions of atoms. And there's enough energy in one single atom that could destroy a huge building. Now you tell me about power that you have stored up in yourself that you don't even know you have. It's just wasting away. You know, people be people of color they be out there when it's summertime. They be in the house and don't come out. You need to be out there in the sun, getting revitalized, rejuvenated. That's why you're the color that you are, is because of the sun. Your skin absorbs the radiation from the sun. That's right. And that's a fact. Your eyes, the same thing. Your eyes determines your nervous system. Tells you have a good nervous system. Tells that your body can fight diabetes. If you have to help it, don't say tell you got diabetes. People with diabetes live to be 80, 90 years old, and then some don't. And people suffer different that have these diseases. You have to think about these. This is important, especially when you don't have no money. How you gonna afford to pay these doctor bills? You better start taking care of yourself and teaching your children because that's your 401k. You don't have any money. How can you afford to pay somebody uh 50, 60, $100 an hour to look out for you? But if you bring your children up right, educate your children. You understand? Just think about this. Educate your children where they can make money. You understand? Love your children where they will love you back. You understand? You have nothing in the world to worry about. Nothing. You're not thinking right. You're not thinking right. You can work together. Everybody split up. Come together. Live together, man. Life and living is so much easier when the family is living together, working together, looking out for one another. Well, if y'all scattered out, I mean, hey, if you're living together, you got one washing machine. You scattered out, now y'all done bought 5 or 6 washing machines. You understand? Everybody's paying for one, but now you got everybody paying for that one. It's a big difference when you're out there by yourself trying to live. It's expensive. So, oh man, but look, got to get back to Trump. I got to get back to Trump before I go. Uh, it's not about Trump brought this on himself. That's all I can say. When I look at it, that's the only thing I can say. Trump brought this on himself, and the Republicans, they brought this on themselves because Trump knew nothing about politics when he came in. And these wimpy Republicans let Trump come in there and do everything that he wanted to do, knowing what the man was doing was wrong. And this is what all this is about. And Trump being Trump, power hungry. That's all he been. Trump been throwing his weight around. He don't know nothing else but that. Been throwing his weight around. See the power. He don't pay nobody. That's what they say. So that's what he does. He come in. Hey, I'm Donald Trump. They open the door for him. He don't have to spend a dime. He just said, I'm Donald Trump. Well, Mr. Trump, what do you want? Mr. Trump, what can I get for you? So he had, and see what he did with the people, which y'all didn't realize. Y'all didn't realize who Trump was. That was y'all mistake because you should have did your homework. See, Trump came in. Trump realized when he was elected president, what shocked him. He said, "Whoa, I am the most powerful man in the world," and he did that, and he played it like that. I want you to do this for me. You don't do what I want you to do. Go, get out, get your shit, and go. That's when Trump had people coming and going. The only people that stayed was the people that said yes sir, or kept their mouth closed, or became people crying on television for Trump. Yeah, those are the ones that stayed. And then some that came out and went through and they wound up in jail. He showed you at the end of the day, it's all about me. So on that note, thank you all so much. This was an eye opener for me. I had a great day talking. We'll try to be back soon, but I'm in the process of. I do have a nonprofit where I help seniors and low income people paint and beautify their homes and try and educate, going to the schools to try and speak to these students because I tell you, they need help desperately. But right now, I'm taking on another project. But anyway, it's always a pleasure, and this is to me, this is what life is all about. So anyway, thank you all very much, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you so much.